Anyway, so WTS guys, we've always had this backup plan for April 1st, actually March 31st, April 1st and 2nd, which is a Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. No change fees. Oh my God. No change fees at the hotels, no change fees at the venue. And you know, most people get you get your change fees reimbursed of any kind on airfare during COVID. Now I've been pro February 3, 4, or 5, but I'm slowly getting a lot of feedback from some of the biggest vendors that yes, they're going to get a booth, but they're going to send one person instead of 7 because they have corporate restrictions. Or the big ones were recently with John, we talked to the Attorney General, Insurance Commissioner, Lieutenant Governor, who all want to come. Absolutely can commit to April 1st and 2nd, but unless something changes very positively in COVID, that they're shaky about February 3, 4, 5. And I really think that the Attorney General, Insurance Commissioner, and you know, the judge and the Lieutenant Governor, I think those are very important people to have at the show, and I don't want to take any chances. So I'm the last one to want to move this thing to April 1st and 2nd. You guys know that I've been traveling shit nonstop since COVID hit, so I'm not afraid of the COVID, but I want to be respectful to other people in the industry, and I don't want to lose the politicians. I don't think it's going to change the contractors. They've been working since day one. Most of the vendors are all still coming. It's just some were talking about sending one person instead of 7 because of the corporate restrictions. So I wanted to get the feedback from you guys. A lot of you guys are leaders in the industry in your respective areas, and just talk about it and get your feedback before we make a final call. Do you have something to say to that?
Well, I was just going to say, I know a lot of the big manufacturers, suppliers right now, right? The corporate, they're not allowed to go anywhere right now. So that's a big deal.
But they still got booths.
And they all have booths.
So they're talking about sending, one person instead of the usual 5 or 6. And we'd like to see more people involved. I'd hate to see, and guys, we got a record turnout of contractors and stuff like that. I'm not worried about that, but I'm worried about the politicians. A couple of John's big clients that are like REITs and stuff like that. They're just more comfortable at April 1st and 2nd. So I just wanted to, before we announce that, and it's been on every ticket since, whenever we get the receipt.
I was thinking about this. If you would share the names and contact info of John's big clients to London and I, and then I discuss this issue with them, or a better plan for this, that might be a great idea.
Hey, seriously though,
John, so it'd be a conflict of interest.
Yeah.
Hey, listen.
Task on me.
If we're talking about 11 months into like heavy COVID, like, do we think that 7 or 8 weeks difference is going to make any difference at this point?
Well, does anybody know?
I think.
Well, is it better to reschedule it once or reschedule it twice if that potentially could happen?
Well, it's actually, TJ, it's 2 months later. It's a full 2 months. So it's all of February and all of March, basically. So it's almost 60 days.
Well, that's why you guys are all on here.
Is the theory that everyone's going to calm down because of the vaccine, and then everyone's going to lift restrictions and everyone's going to be able to do shit again?
Yeah, I think the more the vaccine gets out, like, I don't know about you guys, but I don't want to sit in a conference for 3 days having to wear a mask indoors and sitting 2 feet away in a chair from somebody else. And that's what you're going to probably be looking at February 3, 4, 5. That could change dramatically by April 1st and 2nd. Meaning, I think, because I just talked to the convention center yesterday, they're moving to the fact that we can probably still have it, but there might be a lot of restrictions on over 250 crowd.
Well, let me add to that, because we did speak with the center yesterday, and they're actually saying that they're going to be doing events in early January.
Well, they said no, they didn't say that for sure. They said they're having a meeting in a week with the city and county health officials, and they're going to decide then if they can actually host their January events. So they're still deciding. A lot of these places in this city are deciding, can they hold things over 250 people? That's still in tandem. And by pushing it out, and again, I'm not saying we got to make this decision today, guys, but I wanted to hear your feedback as leaders before we. I
was on the Western States board meeting last week, and I'm on there with one of the members of the board meeting of the National Roofing Association. And so I think they're going to push their date back too. It hasn't been confirmed, but there's a lot of dates that are going to get pushed back. Just from what I know, they were on California. Like a lot of the big members on the Western States are from the West Coast. They're saying they're going to be shut down until September 1st. They're not going to do any conventions, anything after that. So if you plan on getting anybody from the West Coast, I don't know. I think moving it back would be a great move.
I don't think it's.
We're locked. Well, guys, we're locked and loaded on contractor attendees. We're almost over what we did last year, so we're locked and loaded in that regard. Guys, the IRE has pushed theirs until the second week of April, I believe.
But they're even talking about pushing it again, Anthony.
Yeah, no, but I think they're probably going to hold them. But regardless of what they do, we'd still hold ours April 1st and 2nd. But the reason it's good for vendors, because a lot of the same vendors that come to our show go to the IRE. So if we're 2 weeks prior to the IRE, they just shift their booths over to Vegas. So they're holding theirs in Vegas, aren't they? They shift their booths right over to Vegas right from our show. So that's another reason we chose those dates as backup, because the vendors like to be able to ship their stuff within a week or two of within 2 weeks of the IRE show.
I think it's probably a good idea, but
Who's that?
That's Eric.
yeah, I think it's probably a good idea, especially with what you're going to lose in people. I mean, if you're going to have one vendor or one person, I mean, that's going to be overwhelming. I mean, if you have the contractors coming that you do, I think that'll end up being kind of a shit show. And to the point of and who knows, like TJ said, who knows if anything actually does change by April 1, but it's a hell of a lot more likely that it is than in February. Like you said, you're going to have Nazis running around telling people that don't take your fucking mask off and scream at people, and people are going to be pissed off by the end of the whole thing, because every contractor there is going to tell everyone to go fuck themselves every time they get yelled at to put their mask back on.
Exactly. I mean, I don't want to wear a mask for 3 days.
No, but it's going to happen. It happened at other events that we've already went to, where there's like literally just Nazis running around, put your mask on, and contractors they get pissed. You know what I mean? And they'll start fights with these little pricks running around telling us to put our mask back on.
Kurt, how about you?
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I mean, there's just so much happening. I mean, we've just had elections. We got some stuff happening there. We got COVID all over the place. You got certain states that are currently shut down. I know I'm closely connected to the guys in the health club business, and California is shut down. Some other parts of the country are shut down. I think it just gives everyone a little more breathing room, to get things right and where they need to be. And we're all going to come out there and learn anyway. I don't think April, hail generally in most areas doesn't hit that early anyway. And like I said to someone earlier, I think if you feel like your business is going to fall apart because you're gone for 3 days, then you got some other things going on. But we should all take time to connect and get together and learn and grow. And we should be able to do that any time of the year. But I think extending it under the current circumstances is probably a very smart move, regardless of politicians or anything else.
Thank you. How about you there? What is that over there on the left? My eyesight's going bad. That's Grant Rocket. Is that Grant Rocket? Grant, you look like you lost some weight.
Yeah, I lost about 35 pounds.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like, who's that?
Yeah, so I think I saw something yesterday that was interesting, where this Operation Warp Speed projected, the information machine seems to be projecting some space of herd immunity in March to April. So it seems to me that what's being perpetuated in the media will tell the people that that things are getting better right around the time you're looking to move the conference into. So to me, the vaccine is whatever. You can take a vaccine, do whatever you want to do. But either way, it seems to me that the information machine is dictating that the economy will reopen in March or April once they're done destroying this fucking thing. So it just seems like, and I know it's kind of getting into storm season, but let's be real. Everybody wants to come to the conference and see all their friends. So I don't think but I think you're right. I think the vendors, all your vendors are like, they're married to the corporate mindset. So yeah. I don't know that the show will do what you want it to do if you don't move it. That would be my counterpoint to keeping it where it is and thinking that moving it's a good thing. Plus, it's a much nicer time of year in New Orleans. It's kind of on a parallel with where I live, and it starts to warm up then. It's really enjoyable. It's a great place to get a vacation. I think this could be probably the best one you've ever done for a lot of reasons. Location-wise, content, people. but that time of year is pretty special in the South also. So I think you really hit on all cylinders.
So you're pro April 1st and 2nd.
Yeah, I think it would be a mistake to keep it where it is.
Okay, good info. See, I'm getting overruled here. I was the last man standing on this. But how about Scott? Did you say your piece of your mind here?
Well, yeah, I mean, I had lunch with, Tracy Lapine the other day. She said Owens Corning's not doing anything. And then, of course, I was on I mean, I know she said they bought a booth, but they said it's only going to be a local rep there. They're not allowed to do anything.
Yeah.
Until.
Hey, Scott, what'd they say about making more fucking shingles?
Dude, you should see. I can see the plant from my office window, and that fucking thing ain't smoked in about 2 weeks.
God damn.
So I don't know what's going on.
We got 50 out of 90 orders in the hurricane last week. I was like,
yeah. And then, like I told you, the Western states, everybody on the West Coast, they're writing, they're saying they're redoing everything. They're pushing everything. So
Yeah, I'd blow somebody for a Moray Black fucking truck right now.
yeah. I just want to get something. I'll take Weatherwood if I don't care who makes it.
Yeah.
London, how about you?
I think I agree with the rest of the boys. Same reason, there's this alleged vaccine that's going to be coming out. Who knows about its effectiveness? But if that's what, I mean, a lot of these events, when I saw this happening, I shorted movie theaters and Carnival cruises because it's vaccine dependent. Unless we're going to want people, harassing us like Nazis with the masks, then feasibly there's going to be some vaccine that we all take that we, certify that, we've taken or we're clean. There's got to be some way that, and that's not going to happen by February.
Or a widespread antibody test, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That.
They may interrupt.
I don't know how it's going to work, but in order for it to do that, I think it's going to take some time. Probably push it back to April would probably be best.
Yeah, typically hail really doesn't kick off till the middle of April. It really spikes April 15th to June 15th is really you might get a few scattered hailstorms early, but the Midwest usually doesn't see that till middle there. I think we're okay on storm season. That's right on the fine line right there. What really got me thinking about this, John Hotanley, you're on. Is that John down there?
Yeah. Hi, guys.
John talked. We really want the the insurance commissioner, the attorney general. I think that's a big part of the show this year is being a voice with these guys here about some of these OOP issues and stuff, and they voiced some concerns to John that April 1st and 2nd would be a much better date for them, and that's where I really started thinking to start looking at that as a possibility.
Yeah. So we've had one good thing. We're going to have some really good buy-in. I told Anthony we're going to have a really good buy-in this year with the Attorney General of Louisiana, the Insurance Commissioner, a significant appellate court judge, which is going to come, and it's going to be good, for everybody that's working the storms in Louisiana. We had a political rally with some of them, with Lieutenant Governor early on, and they're excited to come to the show. So it's going to be really good. But yeah, Anthony, as I mentioned to you before, you're making the right decision. A lot of these larger corporations, as Scott said, they just liability reasons they won't send their employees. And I know that a lot of these larger real estate trusts that we want to invite and whatnot, they just wouldn't be able to. But so I think it's a good decision. I second Grant's. Grant knows New Orleans well. In March, it is beautiful here. I used to do convention. I used to do events, and I would have 2 months in the year where I would do them in New Orleans. That was March and April. They're the most beautiful times. So we'll have a great. We'll be able to do a lot of outdoor stuff. It doesn't rain very often in that time of year too. So that's pretty good. So it's going to be a great show, and I think we're going to all of the groundwork, Anthony, that you've done with the politicians and everything over all these years, and all these hurricanes in the Gulf. It's going to pay dividends this windstorm. So looking forward to it.
Also want to point out that April 1st and 2nd is the first 2 days of April. And since my birthday is April 17th. I do tend to celebrate the entire month. So this will be really great. And it will be the 11th anniversary of my second bachelor party weekend, which was also held in New Orleans. So that'll be really good. So not only will it be Wind and Storm, but
Point counterpoint. It's McLaughlin.
yeah, I mean, I feel like this is going to be great as my 11th anniversary.
Well, but Paige, isn't it also, it's the anniversary of your ballet recital with the tutu thing? I think you should do that again, man. I think that'd be fantastic.
I have been to some cotillions.
Look forward to it.
Anybody on here that's against moving our conference to the end, March 31st, April 1st, and April 2nd?
TJ is ready to rock and roll.
He's DJ.
My only question was if there was a potential summer date. What Grant said a minute ago about the information machine is dead on. That's hard to forecast. Whenever they say that we can come back out of our, out from under these rocks is when it's going to happen. Maybe April will be perfect. Earlier the better, as long as that already happens. I just am worried about moving it again.
I don't think we're going to move it. I don't think there's no way we move it again.
Well, because now you're going into storm season,
Yeah.
and after this year, nobody's going to go to. They don't want to go to conferences.
I mean,
right?
guys, if we're locked down April 1st and 2nd in America,
We're
we're fucked as a country. Let's just be honest.
We are fucked.
We're going to be.
Yeah.
We're fucked.
Then we're all for it. Yeah, April sounds great.
All right, so just to reiterate, I mean, all the hotel rooms, so if y'all, anybody out there booked hotel rooms, all those rooms transfer, convention center transfer.
Yeah, there's really no change fees because we anticipated this when we first booked it. And again, everybody that's bought tickets so far has been notified on a phone that was our alternative date. So everybody kind of knew this is possible. I was going to initially wait until January 1st to make the call, but after talking to, Autumn, I don't want to see the band. I don't want to see like Beacon just send one rep or GAF send one rep when they usually send 5 to 7. I don't want to see the politicians not coming. I think that's important, is have the voice of the industry. And I think the contractors, all the contractors show up anyways, but why deprive the show of possibly the politicians or some of the biggest vendors as far as the senior management teams and stuff like that, just because we're trying to spark it off early. You know what I mean?
I had two things I wanted to say. First of all, having the politicians at this show is a huge thing, because if you can begin to turn the wheel that way, it needs to happen as soon as fucking possible.
Yep.